But for the people who come to us and say, how do I know if I should write a book? I always ask, what's your goal? Like, why do you want to write a book in the first place? And that's a really important place to start, because some people just want to write a book for the sake of writing a book. And I mean, truthfully, that's kind of where I was when I wrote my first book.
Yeah.
But that's not a great plan.
Right.
But it is, if you're just driven and you feel compelled to write a book, then, go do it. Because it'll bug you if you don't. But a lot of people, I think it's a lot better to start with a goal. And a lot of people say, well, I want to be a bestseller. That's not kind of the driving force. Why do you want to be a bestseller? Like, what's driving that need to call yourself a bestseller? And as you break that down, then you can kind of figure out if it actually makes sense to write a book, because a book is an investment of time and an investment of money if you're going to do one that you're proud of. So you really want to make sure you're clear on why you're doing it. And then you can set up the whole book to give yourself a much better chance of succeeding at getting to your goal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the reasons that people come up with? What is their why?
Oh, there's so many. We have lots of really cool whys, if you will, with our client base right now. One woman, she's working on a World War II memoir, and it's in memory of her uncle. He was in the Blitz in London, and there's kind of a whole street of people that were part of this and have stories. And her uncle left her money as an inheritance. And she wants to honor his memory with this memoir and hopefully take it to a screen someday. So that's her goal. Like, it's number one, honor the memory of her uncle by getting these stories out. And number two, get the story out and hopefully on TV or on a movie screen.
Yeah.
So that's one goal. The majority of our clients are pretty straightforward in that it's, I want to get clients, I want to grow my business, I want to raise my rates, or I want to launch myself as a consultant or somebody in the service profession. So they really want to position themselves as an expert. That's a really, really common one. We have quite a few podcasters that are working with us as well. And their goal is kind of twofold. They've got all this content from their podcasting that they want to, repurpose somehow into a book. And they also want to grow their audience for their podcast. And so it's kind of a mutually beneficial thing. They've got some content, they've got an audience that will buy their book, and then they also want to use their book to grow their podcast audience. So those are just three, but lots of variety in why people are pursuing a book.
Right. So how does somebody, if it is something to build your business, your podcast, how does the book, beyond, showing yourself as an expert, how can you build your business with a book?
It's funny. That's a big, we could have an entire day conversation
totally.
on that. But the one thing I can say from personal experience is a book opens doors that just aren't open to you before your book. And one perfect example of that. So my first book was in real estate. That's kind of my funny background is that I'm actually a real estate investor since 2001. And so my first book that I wrote was a real estate investing book. And I'd already been doing some speaking and like tiny little things, before the book. But after the book, suddenly, major news stations were like, hey, come on our show as a real estate expert. Where before the book, they were turning me down. They weren't even interested. Like, they weren't even responding to me. As soon as the book came out, it was like, yeah, come on our show and hey, come back. And so it gave me that credibility that nothing else really does. Same with paid speaking gigs. I was getting speaking engagements before the book, but after the book, people suddenly saw me as more valuable. So people were offering me either money or some sort of an exchange for me to come and speak. That wasn't happening before the book. So there's opportunities that are out there that you don't even know are there. And so that's kind of the cool part of a book, besides the fact that it's marketing that never dies. So that's the one thing I always tell business owners is, your business card, I hate to tell you this, but if you give me your business card, I might take a picture of it, but no matter what, it's going in the garbage can. Like, I just don't keep business cards anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are the same. And brochures, who's going to keep a brochure? But very few people throw books out.
It's
right?
so true.
Yeah. they pass them along before they throw them out.